Support WrestleTalk!
Give us a subscribe.
We'd like to open today's WrestleTalk news with a slight correction from yesterday's episode, where we noted that Jinder Mahal was flanked by NXT Indus Sher on his return on main event. As it turns out, Mahal was joined by Rinku Singh from Indus Sher, but not Surav Gujar, who's now been replaced by Dilsha Shanky. As it currently stands, there's no report on why that was changed, but the more you know, and knowing is half the battle. Last week on Friday Night SmackDown, what?
Say the line, Bart!
Daniel Bryan lost to Roman Reigns in a fantastic match for the Universal Championship that had the added stipulation that if Bryan lost, he would be banished from SmackDown. This led many to speculate that he would either show up on this week's Raw or NXT, despite the concerto from Reigns presumably writing him off television. As we now know, he didn't show up on Raw, because Jeebus forbid anything exciting happen on that show, and he wasn't on this week's NXT either. He's also been moved to the alumni section of WWE.com, but that's also presumably just part of the storyline of his SmackDown banishment. Or is it? Previously, the rumor was that Bryan's contract with WWE would be up in September, as that was when he signed his last contract a few years ago. However, Bryan recently told TV Line that that was wrong, but wouldn't actually say when his contract would expire. And according to Quizzlemania champion Sean Ross Sapp over at Fightful Select, which has since been corroborated by other sources, it's now. Daniel Bryan's contract with WWE has legitimately expired. Sapp writes Daniel Bryan's WWE contract either expired or was set to expire last week after his SmackDown match. Just as a quick aside, you should all go and subscribe to Fightful Select. Our boy SRS is doing amazing work over there and has been for quite some time. Now, before we get into Daniel Bryan to AEW confirmed, Sapp also knows that this doesn't mean Bryan is leaving WWE, as he could work for them without a contract. Not only that, but Bryan himself has been vocal about doing unconventional work with and for WWE. And a lot of this doesn't really come as a surprise, as last year Bryan told BT Sport that he felt his days as a full-time wrestler were numbered, saying that he wants to be more like a full-time dad, part-time wrestler. And just recently in that TV Line interview, he said he's going to be 40 in May and his neck really hurts from all the various bumps he's taken over the years, and it's painful to have his daughter sit on his shoulders, which she likes to do. You get to that point where it's like, how long can I do this full-time and still be able to do those kind of things with my daughter? What's the right balance between part-time and that sort of thing? It may just be that it's every once in a while when the urge strikes, or maybe it's a schedule where it's like 8 months on, these months off. As another aside, as a man who is 35, 40 does not sound old at all. But, of course, it could also mean that Bryan does that part-time gig elsewhere. Dave Meltzer added in his Wrestling Observer report that WWE is pushing hard for him to sign a new deal, which would suggest that Bryan is possibly negotiating a contract with other wrestling companies like All Elite Wrestling. Daniel Bryan's AEW confirmed. And if he does go, he might not see a heavily rumored name when he gets there. A few days ago, it was reported by SE Scoops that Tessa Blanchard and Darga signing with All Elite Wrestling was all but a formality, and the negotiations between all three parties had been going on for months. Blanchard joining AEW has been a long-standing rumor since she left Impact Wrestling last year when she refused to travel during the pandemic and the company stripped her of their world title. It's always been theorized that she would go to All Elite Wrestling because she is a name that would help bolster their women's division, and her father, Tully Blanchard, currently works there in MJF's Pinnacle faction. SE Scoops note that while AEW are aware of her prior issues, including accusations of racism and being difficult to work with, they intend to work that into her presentation on screen as part of a redemption story of sorts. A few months ago, however, Dave Meltzer noted in the Wrestling Observer newsletter that AEW were not pursuing Blanchard, and now PW Insider have backed that claim up, saying All Elite Wrestling have not offered her or Darga a deal, and there haven't been any discussions about potential deals. Meltzer again added on yesterday's Wrestling Observer Radio that AEW are not negotiating anything with the former Impact champion. Sean Ross Sapp has also reported via Fightful Select that there have been no talks between Blanchard and AEW, and also notes she's not going to be part of NXT's Diamond Mine faction that was revealed last week. However, WWE understand how fans might have had that misconception. If Blanchard does go to AEW, which seems highly unlikely at this point, she might not be seeing Kip Sabian around for a while, who confirmed on Twitter that he's taking some time off for surgery. Fightful Select are reporting this isn't a storyline to follow up from Miro's beatdown on last week's Dynamite, but the nature of Sabian's injury is unknown, just that he's going to be on the shelf again. We here at WrestleTalk would like to wish Kip Sabian the speediest of recoveries. And it was good news for WWE Raw, which was up in viewership this week after last week's dip, returning to the 1.8 million viewer mark they were at just before WrestleMania, which is an increase of 5.5% from the previous week. It also won the night for the USA Network in that all-important 18 to 49 demo, and while the third hour was the lowest rated, because it always is, the second hour did nearly 2 million viewers, which is broadly unheard of for Raw these days. Turns out Eva Marie is a draw. It's expected that next week's episode, which is the go-home edition for WrestleMania, Backlash, if you can believe that, should also see an increase. And now it's time to throw over to Tempest the Wrestler, who has this week's NXT review in about 5 minutes.
Not so long ago, in the mysterious land of Toronto, Canada, Tempest the Wrestler was reviewing NXT.
Tempest the Wrestler is reviewing NXT in about 5 minutes. So this week's episode of NXT kicked off with the Falls Count Anywhere match between Isaiah Swerve Scott and Leon Ruff. So right off the bat, gold star for starting with a match. Love to see it. While I'm still not convinced that these two needed to have another match, the match itself was very good. Leon was able to get some momentum by the end of the match as he hit his twisting cutter with Isaiah rolling to the outside. He then hit another twisting cutter on the floor, but before he could finish him off, he was attacked by AJ Francis. Francis hit Ruff with an attitude adjustment on the barricade before Isaiah Swerve Scott finished him off in the ring. Really solid way to open the show, and hopefully this rivalry is done and dusted. Johnny Gargano and Austin Theory interrupted a meeting between William Regal and Scarlett Bordeaux backstage as Austin Theory just kinda, he stared at her, talking about her big, incredible, seemingly not real nails. He was talking about her nails. We then got a match between Cameron Grimes and Asher Hale, and Asher Hale managed to get the majority of the offense in this match. I couldn't believe it. You'd think a match like this would be a squash, but no, Hale managed to hit a drop kick to the knee and a really impressive twisting dragon screw leg whip before Cameron Grimes hit his black hole slam-esque move and the double stomp to the chest for the win. We got the highly anticipated tag match between Timothy Thatcher and Tommaso Ciampa and the Grizzled Young Veterans. There were more heelish tactics in this match, with the Grizzled Young Veterans feigning an illegal tag to distract the referee, while James Drake pulled on Timothy Thatcher's ear and threw him face first into the ropes. I didn't quite like this as much as Drake's fake injury from their match with Breezango a few weeks ago, but this was still a nice touch. What I didn't think was a nice touch though was Timothy Thatcher locking in the armbar on Jack Gibson and him tapping out. Why are the Grizzled Young Veterans losing on TV? If the Grizzled Young Veterans aren't the best tag team in NXT, it's clearly a 1A and 1B situation, and I don't really understand the rationale behind having them lose another match so soon after losing to MSK. We had a really weird backstage segment with Isaiah Swerve Scott and his entourage like walking out, but they're walking for a really long time, long enough to see that there's no one in this hallway, and he turns around and he doesn't talk to the camera, he talks past the camera. He's talking to you, not a person over there, about how he said he was gonna beat Leon Ruff. Who are you talking to, Swerve? Karrion Kross came up to cut a promo where he talked about not having to prove anybody wrong, but everyone else needs to prove themselves right by stepping up to him, at which point he was cut off by Kyle O'Reilly. Cool, Kyle. Kyle said that he wasn't afraid of Kross, but wanted a shot at the NXT Championship, at which point he was interrupted by Pete Dunne. Pete Dunne said that he is the baddest man in NXT, doesn't care what the NXT fans want, and wants a shot at the NXT Championship, at which point he was interrupted by Finn Balor. Now, Finn Balor came out and he said that he'd already beaten Pete Dunne, and he'd already beaten Kyle O'Reilly twice, and then he stepped up to Karrion Kross, threw one punch, and got absolutely dropped. Finn Balor looked like such a punk in this segment. Things broke down into a brawl as Karrion Kross cleared the ring, but Austin Theory and Johnny Gargano attacked him from behind as it was announced earlier in the night that Austin Theory will go one-on-one with Kross next week. In another match, we had Saray taking on Zayda Ramir, and I really don't understand why Zayda Ramir beat Toni Storm. The two had a back and forth match that, in my honest opinion, I thought was kind of sloppy. It didn't feel very crisp, it didn't feel very dynamic, with Saray ultimately getting the win with her Exploder Suplex. Backstage, we had my favorite segment on the entire show as Walter FaceTimed Imperium, meaning one thing: that Walter watches the NXT Review podcast. If Walter watches the NXT Review podcast, that means you all should be watching it too. Back in the ring, LA Knight took on Jake Atlas in a quick match, ultimately picking up the win with his facebuster, and I'll be perfectly honest, I thought Jake Atlas looked like the better of the two men here. This match was fine, but there really wasn't much to it. Knight cut a promo beforehand and he made a joke about Atlas as it didn't make sense. Let's move on! In the locker room, Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell were trying to prepare for their match when Candice noticed Dexter Lumis lurking in the window, and I honestly
Tempest's views regarding Dexter Lumis have been deemed too controversial and have been hereby censored by the All Authority.
Ember and Shotzi were walking backstage as they came across Shotzi's tank, and they found little Frankie Monet's dog in it. Oh, that's so cute. It took a dump in her tank. What am I doing with my life? See, that comedy segment gets a thumbs down. The comedy segment where Cameron Grimes tries to go into the VIP room only to be upstaged by the $1 Million Man, that gets a thumbs up. But ultimately, we got the main event, NXT Women's Tag Team Championship Street Fight, as The Way managed to capture the titles for Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart. There were tons of cool and crazy spots here, but ultimately, Indy Hartwell hit a springboard diving elbow drop through a table to take Ember Moon out of the match, while Candice LeRae hit brass knuckles on Shotzi Blackheart and hit the Wicked Stepsister on a chair for the win, capturing the titles. I'd really love to know why The Way couldn't win a few matches leading up to this championship win, but hey, the best time to start winning was then, and the second best time is right now, so let's go. There were a lot of weird moments on this show, but I will go with a 4 out of 5 rating as that main event just bumped everything up a notch. And that just about wraps it up for me. If you want to see more coverage of NXT, make sure that you check out the NXT Review podcast with myself and my Intangibles partner, Chopper P. Quinnell. Until then, stay beautiful and watch Scott Pilgrim.
And you can watch the intangibles of Tempest and Chopper Pete Quinnell review NXT in detail live over on the WrestleTalk podcast channel today. Click the video that is on screen right now to set your reminder. And you can watch me lose my mind and scream into a pillow over the booking of Damian Priest on this week's Raw by clicking the video below that. I've been Luke Owen. Jam that mother flipping jam.